because of that experience, we did actually learn about what hemp was. It was kind of erased off the books and stuff, but the old farmers all knew what it was, and they talk about in World War II how much hemp they grew and stuff. So it was actually kind of neat to learn about it, back in the 80s and 90s when it really wasn't a topic of discussion. It was almost taboo, if you will. So that was kind of fun growing up around that. Grew up, there were some dairy farms in the family, threw some hay bales, milked some cows, all that fun stuff. And then
Hey guys, it's Mandi with Global Hemp Association. I wanted to say thank you so much for joining. I'm excited about the opportunity to build a relationship and connect this supply chain. I mean, after all, that's why we started the association. Our association was built on the foundation of connecting supply chain, building relationships, and helping you grow your business. Anyone from farmers, manufacturers, and distributors, people that are passionate about the supply chain, and those creating products selling into biofuels, plastics, textiles, construction, and building materials.
Well, I'm excited to have you on. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and listening. If you are listening, please say hello, drop a little note, let Aaron and I know that you're here today. We'll definitely have to give you a shout out. I'm really excited. I like that farm truck too. I'm really excited to have Aaron on today and show off what he's got going. And Aaron, I don't know if you want to do a real quick intro and to let everybody know who you are and what you're up to.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Aaron Randell. I'm co-founder of Salt Creek Hemp and co-founder of a new company, Hemp Engineered Manufactured Products. Some really exciting stuff going on with both companies.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about both. And how'd you get into this real quick, Aaron? Where are you from? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hate talking about myself, but originally a Wisconsin boy. So actually hemp's been around my life for quite a while. When we were kids, we used to see it growing in the ditches, and we thought it was something else. But
how'd that work out for you?
Sore throat and a headache.
That's right.
Right. So, but we did actually learn, because of that experience, we did actually learn about what hemp was. It was kind of erased off the books and stuff, but the old farmers all knew what it was, and they'd talk about in World War II how much hemp they grew and stuff. So it was actually kind of neat to learn about it, back in the 80s and 90s when it really wasn't a topic of discussion. It was almost taboo, if you will. So that was kind of fun growing up around that. Grew up, there were some dairy farms in the family, threw some hay bales, milked some cows, all that fun stuff. And then left Wisconsin and worked on helicopters for 20 years. Yeah, kind of always had a little bit of a thing for stuff that flew. So after 20 years of a very demanding industry and exciting industry, kind of was looking for a change, and some options presented themselves. Hemp was coming around. So we actually bought some seeds in a parking lot at night and planted our first industrial hemp crop in 2015. So.
Isn't it so funny how much it's changed? I mean, how really business used to be done, legal or not, right? It used to be done, meet me out in the parking lot or back behind this building. And yeah, I hear that a lot about when I start to interview people that have been in the industry for a long time. Somebody said, it's really weird. For so long, we burned our receipts. We didn't dare tell anybody what we were doing or where we were meeting. And now we're being asked to disclose everything. It's very different.
I was actually, I was reflecting on that this morning over a coffee, just going from that parking lot in 2015, meeting a guy at night, buying a duffel bag of seeds, with thousands of dollars in cash, a gun in your pocket, not knowing what the heck those seeds are, because yes, I know what a marijuana or a hemp seed looks like, but no paperwork, no nothing.
Right.
To where we can now access genetics. We've got R&D plots growing all over the country. It's actually come quite a ways in a short amount of time.
Yes, absolutely. So tell me about these plots you have and where are you headed? Tell me about your companies, what you guys are working on.
Okay, so specifically, the plots are not mine. We do work with several companies, and then when I reference the plots, like I was just looking, Ryan Laughlin's got some beautiful R&D plots going for Colorado Department of Ag.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to see all this fiber and all this grain coming into light. I mean, Obviously, we've got Salt Creek Hemp, which is a CBD company. We're very happy with our products, and we're very happy with CBD, but we know that there's just so much more to hemp.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting to see the traction that's being gained with the fiber market. We know the guys at Formation Ag, and they're getting some decortication lines out there. You got Andy Bish doing a bunch of neat stuff with harvesting equipment. Worked with both those guys, and so we're really starting to get somewhere, and we're actually getting some uses. And that's where the Hemp Engineered Manufactured Products comes in. We work with Greg Wilson's Hemp Wood out of Kentucky, or I'm sorry, out of Tennessee, and some really neat things going on with that. It's version 1.0, but it is hemp lumber. We're not killing trees.
Yeah.
There's some tricks to the trade, but we're getting some really interesting products, and we're getting some great feedback. I think the funnest part about the products we're making is somebody picks up like we've got these Lazy Susans, we've got some serving trays, stuff like that. And they pick it up and they can't put it down.
Yeah.
They sit there and they're like touching it, and they're playing with it, and they just can't put it. So it's kind of fun to see the reactions.
That's my favorite part. I have one of your Lazy Susans sitting on my table, and it's my favorite part when I have people come over. And my dad's been in like the construction space and building, and he's an engineer, and he was just like, wait, what? This is hemp? This is what it looks like? And, you can see him turn it and pick it up and pass it. And yeah, it's the best. Well, hi, Rick. I wanted to say hello to you. Thank you very much for joining. For anybody else that's listening, please say hello. If you like what you're hearing, please drop us a note. Feel free to ask Aaron any questions. Also, feel free to join any of our meetings. Aaron will have to get you back on as well for any of our construction and building material meetings, and really share. I've got some great connections that I want to pass over to you. And so,
yeah, I've been bouncing around a little bit. I missed the last couple. Sorry about that.
Don't be sorry. It's great. Yeah, I'm glad to have you on. And we know how busy you are. They're recorded and shared. So anybody that's looking, go to our YouTube channel, Global Hemp Association, and you'll find like 130 something videos that we have posted so far, just like these. So really excited. So Aaron, tell me about some of the products that you're creating. What does this look like for people? And while you're doing that, I'm going to grab this Lazy Susan because I want to show them. So you.
I was going to say I feel bad here. I've got a bunch of products scattered all over Denver right now on show, so yeah. I'm a little lean here at the command post with being able to pick up a bunch of things and show you that. We do have a website, a basic website that just got constructed. It's hemphomestyles.com. We've got a few things on there like the Lazy Susans, the mirrors. Really, a lot of the things we've been doing with the hemp lumber is proof of concept and showing people. The Lazy Susans, the mirrors, some shelving units, some knife blocks. Those are in production. Those are items that you can basically buy through Hemp Home Styles or Hemp Engineered. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, that's a rift cut too. Nice.
Yes, very awesome. Nice. It's dirty. I'm a little embarrassed to show you.
Oh, that's all right. No, it's a beautiful piece. Yeah, those really turn out nice. And the fun part with that too is it's much like lumber. There's because of the way the logs are constructed from the hemp stalks, no two logs are the same. You're never going to get the same look. It's very much like working with lumber as far as the look and the durability. That's one thing we like to preach is, there's nothing wrong with lumber, and in forestry, if managed properly, is totally fine. But we can offer, a pretty neat option. And that's one of the things that's great is, these farmers that we're trying to get to grow fiber, where's this stuff going? So now we've got these logs, and we can do, actually yesterday was a great day. We ran about 500 board feet of shiplap for like interior wainscoting style or nickel gap, they call it. That was exciting because it was a high production run. The machine ran that in probably like 35 minutes. So that's kind of leading us towards these higher production runs for building materials. We do have several builders that, I can't be making this stuff on table saws in the back shop. We got to step up our game, and we just did that. So that's a really exciting move that we just made, and yeah, we're hoping to be shipping out pallets of this stuff in the very near future.
That's exciting. So tell me about some of the benefits. Like, where are we really, for those that may not know very much about hemp or the benefits to hemp wood, what are you looking at? And then talk to me about some of the challenges that we're seeing realistically in bringing product to market.
Yeah. Advantages. First, very obvious one would be the fact that we're not killing any trees. In my past life, we did helicopter logging all over the Western United States, which is actually a very responsible way to log. However, I do feel a little bit of penance needs to be paid for my past sins. So it's kind of exciting to be producing products where we're not killing the trees. And then obviously we've got just the fact that it's a great crop. When we talk about growing fiber crops, we've got the potential to remediate soil from all this glyphosate that we've thrown in it, all these chemicals we've been throwing in the soil. The hemp plant can actually remove a lot of that. It's kind of a magician in that aspect, where it can wick these things out of the soil all the way up to heavy metals, and we can clean up a field, and then we can actually make a product. We're not just going to till that crop in or just cut it down and get it out of the field. We're actually going to make something from that. So, that's a great aspect. Carbon sequestration seems to be the hot topic of the last year or two. So we've also got I believe Greg claims his plant is carbon neutral, where the hemp wood logs are actually produced. So, we're making great strides in that aspect as well. Not to mention, like I said, just a great rotational crop for the farmers to clean up those fields. They did corn and then they did beans, and let's throw in the hemp on the third go round.
Sure.
You mentioned the challenges, which this one's good for the farmers, but this year's been a little interesting to get farmers to grow fiber because corn's over $7 a bushel. Last year, going into springtime at planting time, I think we were about $3.25 a bushel, which was not looking good for farmers. It was a little bit easier last year to say, hey, why don't you guys try this? This year, a lot of guys are growing corn. Also, we've had the stigma of the hemp industry that expanded very rapidly without the best of game plans. So we have quite a few farmers that are feeling the sting from the CBD industry, unfortunately. We grew a little bit too much, a little too quick. So getting guys back in after they've been sitting on 100,000 pounds of allegedly really valuable material for 2 years it's a tough sell. So we have some milestones to overcome, or some bumps in the road, but we're getting there. I mean, there's so many great things going on. You've got I&D up in Montana doing some great things. You've got Melissa Nelson and South Bend Hemp. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think she just actually posted. It looked like they're getting their decortication line dialed in pretty well. Yeah. So we're seeing that all over the country. Texas is a little quiet, but I think they're going to just all of a sudden blow up. I mean, they're growing down there. They're just not talking about it much. And I know there's large facilities coming online. So we're literally going from 0 to 60 pretty quick.
So talk to me about wood products, right? Is the hemp wood a structural wood, and where is it different? Or can you speak to some of the differences? Right, as we're talking about the distribution of the actual product into market, what does it compare to other, say, a ponderosa pine or a dirt cherry wood?
Oh, this is the one where I get beat up all the time.
Uh-oh. I'm going to put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm getting used to it. The skin's getting pretty thick, and that last feeling's pretty tough. Okay. So it's not a structural lumber at this point in time. We don't have a decorticated mix in there, so we do have some minimal weak spots, especially in like a rift cut. We just have these large chunks of herd that they're just not going to allow us to go structural with this particular material. The good news is you got to start somewhere. And we can make a lot of really cool looking products. My coffee tables and such are a freestanding hempwood product. A coffee table doesn't hold a house up, and as long as you're not jumping on it and bouncing on it, it should do just fine. We can do a lot of really neat things where we can laminate thinner boards of this hempwood to something to make it look good. It also saves us on some weight because the hempwood is rather heavy. So we're getting there, but structural is not quite there at the moment. That being said, if you look around your house, your hardwood flooring is not structural. Your trim around your doors is not structural. The shiplap wainscoting stuff that we're doing, non-structural. So there's actually a lot of applications where we can bring this into the home and at least get started in getting people into hemp again. So structural's coming. We're working on that. There's a group of us putting our heads together, and with the lumber prices doing what they're doing, like we've often said, if we can't make this happen right now, I don't know if we ever can. But that being said, the lumber guys they're not going to be super excited about you coming in and stealing some of their thunder, especially at the prices they're getting right now.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's the problem coming from the builders. And the builders are eager, and what I'm seeing, architects are eager to find something more sustainable, something that's easier, less expensive, potentially long-term, right? Right now, cost is, what's cost comparison? What are we looking at for cost?
So that's where I was saying I get beat up a little bit. The products are not exactly the cheapest thing you'll run across. I am not competing with IKEA. I'm not competing, I'm not competing with, so we're looking at more like a specialty wood. Greg likes to use white oak as an example. That's a popular one out east. And yeah, it's just, it's a little bit more of a specialty wood. A pine board at Home Depot is going to cost you $4 or $5. But if you get a nice oak board, it's probably going to cost you $18, $20. And that's more in the realm of where we're at this time. The other thing that actually drives our cost of our products up just a little bit is the amount of hand craftsmanship that goes into them. It does work like wood quite a bit as far as using some traditional woodworking tools, but we also have to take a little extra time to make sure that the fit and finish looks, like a high quality product. So that's the one where I was saying I get beat up a little bit because people are like, well, I'm not paying that much for something like that. And I'm like, well, okay, but it's not pine. All right. So, and as we produce more, I can see things getting more economically friendly. It always costs more to make small amounts of items versus once we can get really up into large scale production. Even just that production run we did yesterday. Yes, it's a very expensive machine, but we can run 27 board feet a minute versus table saws and hand work. So, things will stabilize. And the best part is we're probably as high on cost as we're going to be right now. And everything we do moving forward should actually be making it a little more affordable. Gotcha.
So there was a question that just came up, Ram. What is your plan to reduce the cost of hemp wood? I talked to many farmers and they just don't see the profitability. We kind of touched on this in the beginning and then just a little bit now. What is it that you think is that big solution that the industry needs? Is it still processing, or do you feel like the processing that's coming online will kind of help balance that out?
That's definitely going to be one of the things that starts chewing away at that price tag is the processing. We are seeing literally, I think there's 3 facilities that I know of coming online this year. Yeah. And as we get more and more of those facilities, the price per ton of material should, go down, hopefully. We don't want it to go down too much. We still want the farmers to get paid. Last I checked, a ton of fiber, still $150. I'm pretty sure that's what it's been for the last 6 years. So I'd actually like to see the farmers get paid a little more as the demand increases for these products, which is something that we may very well run into is a lack of supply. This year, we're not seeing a ton of fiber production because of the corn prices. And there's a lot of really ambitious people doing really neat stuff with these fibers. So all of a sudden we might all be fighting over bales of hemp fiber.
I 100% think that's coming. I think that there's this chicken and egg that we've fought with, right? And everybody came in and grew the CBD and then nobody was growing fiber. And then now we have almost cursed the market because so many farmers were unsuccessful or lack of profitability, right? And so why should they try hemp again? And it really is this reconditioning our market and our industry to what the difference is and what opportunities are available. And then we got a little bit manufactured and produced. And like you said, then we get all these universities that are playing with it. Now they've got patents and products and plastics and biofuels and batteries and textiles and no production of fiber.
Well, that's the neat part is it's also forcing us to find a use for every little tiny scrap of this stuff. These logs are not cheap from Greg. And I've actually, I'm talking to a gentleman that wants to buy my sawdust, which that's value added. Every dime I can squeeze out of that log reduces the price of the products, does make things cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, large scale production is going to help with that as well. But it's interesting because a lot of farmers actually have had really positive reactions to these products and seeing them. We did a couple ag shows early this year when the show started opening up. We were in Des Moines, Iowa, and Lincoln, Nebraska. And that was fun. I mean, I'm not knocking the CBD shows and all these other expos, but that's a really fun show to go to, is these farm shows and talk to the farmers directly.
Mm-hmm.
They're picking up the products and they're holding them and they're going, wait a second, I can grow a field of hemp and you guys can turn it into this. And I'm like, yeah, we can.
And the thought of being able to manufacture within our state or our county or our borders, right? And I think that is extremely appealing to the farmers, not just the farmers, but on the entire piece of the supply chain, right? That we can finally wrap our mind around giving our farmers more profitability and manufacturing and supplying to our own communities instead of buying from one, shipping to another to finish, back and forth, right? The carbon footprint is a real problem now.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're trucking in a lot of our softwood from Canada.
Yeah.
So, versus trucking in softwood from Canada, we can actually have facilities all around the country that are producing logs for their regional areas. And the farmers have a place to go. I mean, Greg's got a great model. I believe he's got 600 acres contracted around his facility, and with options for more when we all get excited and keep selling all this stuff. So, that's a great model, and that's a franchisable model. That could be done in Colorado. That could be done in Utah. That could be done in California. Oregon, Logging Central, and we can go and do some hempwood up there.
Right.
So,
right. Talk to me a little bit about binder, and if you can, right? What does the product look like? Can you describe to people that may not know what goes into the hemp log, hemp wood? What part of the plant is being used?
Okay, so we're using the stalks, and actually I'm going to have to apologize. My place is a little bit messy, but I think I can find a piece.
Listen, Aaron, I love this because we get to see what it's really like and what it looks like, and we get to show it off. And so thank you very much. Thanks for being willing.
I like I said, I apologize. I'm short on stuff at the house here, and then I've been moving and doing a lot of different things, so it's just a little bit messy. So anyway, all right.
Neil just asked a question too, going right along the same lines. What are the glues that you require?
I can't give you all the secret sauce. Come on.
Are there any volatiles that we should understand?
There's a reason.
And that's fair, right? Some things are proprietary, and I totally respect that.
It's funny because people ask about our coatings, and like anybody that's developed a product, there's a lot of IP into this. And for example, thousands and thousands of dollars in coatings. The corner of one of my shops looks like a toxic waste dump. All the stuff we were trying to go through to figure out how to protect this stuff.
What works, yeah.
So there is a little bit of R&D there.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this then. On your coatings, are you finding that the hemp's more absorbent? So it was like, what were the struggles, I guess, as you went through that?
Well, we can show a little bit here. I don't know how to do this. Okay, there we go. So this is just a sample board. There's two cuts that we can get out of these logs, and it's really the same log, just flipped 90 degrees. This particular board is a face cut, and you have a rift cut.
Cool.
So these are the two different looks that we can achieve. Obviously we can stain things. We can do a lot of different things with it.
Okay.
So glues and binders and coatings. There is, in the log itself, there's an acrylic binder and there's a soy binder. Two different logs, not used at the same time. We've played with both from Greg. The acrylics do work a little better with saws and stuff. Now we're getting back to a little bit of the petrochemical industry, but we baby steps in version 1.0. Yeah. So the logs themselves are made from the stalks from a fiber crop. They get beat up a little bit. They do not get decorticated. They just get beat up enough to open them up. Yeah. Then they get put into a mold Well, they get cleaned up and everything. They get put into a mold and they get pressed with the acrylic or the soy-based resin.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and Greg came up with this to make flooring. That's been Greg's mission, is to provide this flooring, and he's got a great product. We rep it here in Colorado. Really excited about it. So for Greg's purposes, he's cutting off 1/4 inch slabs of that, and he can bond it to his underlayment, and that makes his wood flooring. We just decided we did the whole hold my beer, and we're gonna use this in thicker aspects. So a lot of our products, like our coffee tables and even that sample board there, that's a 3/4 inch thick board. Coffee tables usually end up 1 inch thick. And yeah, we can join these together. Yes, there's special glues that we use. Nothing that was developed by NASA or anything. You just have to play with it a little bit. I don't recommend wood glue. Don't use Elmer's. So we can join these. We can make products. And then the coatings are important because the wood is, or the material that we're working with, will absorb things. It does not like water when it's uncoated. We've come up with a very bulletproof coating that has a 10-year guarantee. I believe the only thing it doesn't react well to is 98% sulfuric acid. And I don't know many things that react well to 98% sulfuric acid. So,
or where that's a common household item.
Yeah. It's not something that's normally sitting on the coffee table, right? So that's what we have to do. We do have to protect the wood. We can send things out unfinished, and we can send recommendations. We can actually finish things for you. That's the coolest part, is the options are really endless. A lot of the work that we do is custom work. We've been doing some really neat signs because we've got a laser, we can burn in logos and stuff. So we've been doing some signs, custom tables. I think somebody just asked about a shelf to go across the bathtub today. I thought that was actually a pretty good idea. You put your glass of wine there or something, right?
Hey, in fact, I'm going to need some of these. Coffee table. I'm excited. And I've got a couple of events that are coming up where I'd like to display some home products. And so touch, I've really started to get into the building and construction industry and their existing events, just like you said, the farming events, being able to just show up and speak instead of it be a hemp focused. And so, I'd love to loop you in on some of this, because I think that it's a product. There's a lot of interest in product that's ready to go to market, right?
Yeah, and the green initiatives too. I know in Colorado, the builders are just chomping at the bit for that last production run we did the other day, because they're very excited to get this into their playbook on these homes. So yeah, we're seeing some great progress there. Oh, sorry, we're recycling today.
That's okay. It's usually my lawnmower outside, so you're good.
We can definitely set you up with some stuff. And then actually later today, because I just got this production run, we're going to clean up some boards and make some contractor packs, with some shiplap. And then we're going to play with a couple stains, because one of my partners just wants to see colors. I like this stuff natural, but everybody's got an opinion. So we're going to play with a couple stain colors, and we're going to get some contractor packs ready. So
awesome. Well, I'd love to see one of those and help show it off. Here's a great comment. Cradle to cradle certified circular economy, ready coatings and glues are so forth available. Great product, Aaron.
Oh, well, thank you.
Shout out. I wish I could see who you were. They're not coming in. So, so where do you see things going then, Aaron? Where do you see yourself? What's your company up to in the next 5 years? I mean, we see lots of growth, and you've talked about lots of different, your tentacles are pretty spread out and
well, yeah. So. Well, obviously, we're really happy with the home goods. We're actually getting ready to launch on more of a web-based platform with a partner we're working with. So we're starting out with 4 or 5 products, just trying to really aim for success with a smaller arsenal. Okay. And that has potential to go upwards into 100 products. So that would be one direction, is let's get hemp in your home. As far as like your Lazy Susans, switch plate covers is a hot topic, but they're very, very difficult to make. Just so you know, everybody, we are making them, but you don't want to pay $100 for a switch plate cover.
Well, and I have a question. I imagine as I look at my board or my Lazy Susan, that all the little fibers when you're sanding or running it through a lathe have got to be a challenge.
It's hand craftsmanship.
Okay. I mean, it definitely, yeah. For anybody that doesn't understand, like hemp has all these little tiny fibers that I imagine they would get peeled back if you hit it at the wrong direction, or could.
There are some serious tricks to working with this.
Okay.
We often get requests because we do keep a large supply of the logs here in Colorado. As far as I know, we're the only people west of the Mississippi that are stocking Greg's logs. And I do get calls for people because we've got the saws and the equipment to turn those logs into boards. If you want a 1/2-inch thick board, a 1-inch thick board, we can make those boards for you from the logs. But I often recommend when somebody just wants to jump into this with both feet and just start, like, send me 20 boards. Okay, well, if your project needs 20 boards, you probably ought to order 40 because you got a little bit of learning to do.
Yeah.
And we can help and we can guide, but I can't give away every one of my secrets because then I just got a whole lot of competition, which not the worst thing. We are working with some other facilities to get these larger production numbers. Mm-hmm. We're showing them the tricks of the trade and then applying it to these larger industrial processes. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely a direction is the home goods line. And then I'm super excited about the construction line. Trim, shiplap, and flooring at this point in time. But like I said, once we get a little more further into the process, switch plate covers, neat things for all over your home. Not to mention, there is a group of us putting our heads together to figure out if we can do a structural lumber. It's just a little bit difficult.
Mm-hmm. And that's my understanding is the structural piece is really a holdup. I don't know if it's a holdup. It's definitely more of a challenge to figure out on both the hempcrete and the hemp wood side, right?
Yeah, and great strides being made on both sides of the sides of the fence there. The hempcrete, there's multiple companies that are sticking their heads in it. And I mean, honestly, that's what it takes. Everybody gets mad when big business gets in, but these guys have the dollars to really move something forward. Whether or not they're well intended. We do get some significant advancements from all this research from guys that have, a little more cash than we do. So,
and I think it's not just cash, right? But look at like supply channels and just experience. There's a group that I'm working with that has brought, one of the lumbers to market, some of the wood to market, and now being able to follow those footsteps, with an alternative material that I would imagine use the same testing, same processes.
We all have to fall under ANSI testing, as far as strength and to be declared a structural product. And I see that happen. It just takes a minute, and then is it worth it? Is it going to be cost effective? Personally, this year with what we've got for fiber production and where we're at with our facilities, I don't think it's necessarily realistic that 2021 is going to be the year you see a 2x4 made out of hemp. You might see a demo 2x4 that can be tested and we can refine the process, but I mean, it's going to take a minute. We've got to find the right binders, which there's strides being made on that daily. But we've got to be able to compete with a 2x4, because right now, if I made a 2x4 out of hemp wood, it would weigh about 10 times the weight of a regular 2x4. Right. I don't think that's going to go over well.
Right.
So it's coming, and there's a lot of really smart people working on it, and we're happy to collaborate and work with anybody that's interested, because this isn't something to hold close and put in your pocket. This is a huge thing that's going to take a lot of brilliant minds to move it forward.
And there's so much opportunity, like you said before. There's just this. Right now there isn't real competition, in my opinion. There just is. I respect holding our IP and protecting the hard work that we've done, but there is room for so many people to get into this. And like you said, the franchise opportunity is huge, right?
Oh yeah, when I'm working with some of these shops, we do basic agreements for production and such so that they're not, going behind our back or whatever. But there is so much room that it's not the time to be greedy. You can take 5% of $1 billion industry, and that's still a pretty nice paycheck. And that's the numbers we're talking. I mean, construction materials are in the billions and billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions of dollars.
Right.
So yeah, this is not the time to be greedy. Let's think collaborative, and let's move forward together, and we can all eat at a really nice table made out of hemp.
Yeah, I'm going to need one of those. I'm building a hemp house. I'm just putting that out there to all of you that have hemp products. I want a hemp house, and I want to use it. I know that it will be a tourist attraction for a while, but I'm willing to sacrifice.
Well, and we'd love to work with you on any aspect of that, Mandi, for sure. Because that's what it takes, though, is that touristy thing to show everybody this stuff and get their juices salivating a little bit over this and realize that, hey, this isn't your dad's marijuana. This is hemp. This is something we can actually do some really amazing things with.
Yes, absolutely. It's an agricultural crop.
Yes.
This is not a grow in your backyard. And talk to me about acreage. And then I want to know, how do people get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, you can reach me. I'm not going to throw my cell number out today, but you can definitely reach me, Aaron, Aaron, at saltcreekhemp.com. So that's my email. Feel free to reach out with questions, concerns, projects, anything. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook as well. Any of these methods are a great way to get a hold of me. I just don't give out my phone number because I'm too busy. I've got a place in Denver, and they call me every day wanting to buy my house. I don't know how your real estate market is, but it's crazy here.
It's the exact same, but I don't have a house. And so for some reason, I'm Sarah to all those people that call me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's insane. It's just insane. So, so yeah, you can reach me that way. Yep.
Acreage. What are we looking at for volume to fulfill the industry's need for hemp wood or even the manufactured home goods?
Greg's model is a great model. As far as it's the only tangible numbers I have for a facility that's producing something right now. Okay. I think Melissa and Aaron over in Kansas will be your next ones, but they'll probably have more data at the end of this year as far as because I'm not 100% certain where their processed herd and fiber is going, but I know that they've sold out. Greg's running that 600 acres around his place with an option on 400 more to fill the gap if he needs. So, 1,000 acres will keep somebody like Greg running. Now, his flooring gets really popular, or our products get when our products get really popular, I could see that number going up to 2,500 acres feeding a facility, which is a really reasonable number, though. If you look at it, I mean, if you put that into perspective, eastern slope of Colorado or western slope of Colorado could have its own production. 2,500 acres when it comes to farming is not a humongous number. You got guys in Kansas and Nebraska that plant 4,000 of corn.
I've got someone today that has 10,000 acres they're ready to do something with. And I was like, well, we got to figure out who's processing that before we even talk.
Is that in the valley? Is that in the valley in California though? Because those guys I'll give them credit for ambition. A couple of years ago, a guy looked at me and said, I'm going to tear out 10,000 acres of almond trees and I'm going to plant CBD. And I looked at him, I was like, I would not do that. Please do not do that.
I had someone the other day do the same thing. They've got 4,000, want to do 2,000 of CBD. And that was my advice. And it's hard because as much of an advocate I am for the hemp industry, it's hard looking somebody in the eye and saying,
don't plant. Yeah.
Don't do what I've been preaching for you to do because it's just, wrong. I don't even know if wrong market. It's just not a stable market. There's too much risk and too much loss that I've experienced from people.
Well, there's a break in the chain with that CBD side of things that has given us kind of a bad name. I collaborate with a lot of individuals on the CBD side, and we we often laugh and joke about some of this stuff, and also painfully, where people want to do thousands of acres of this and they have no idea where this material is going. Conversely, with the products that we have, I want to fill houses, and we know there's houses everywhere. CBD products are great, and the market's got some great traction. There's some great products out there. But if you look at how far a kilo of oil goes and how many products it makes, that seems to be the disconnect where where the money guys don't quite understand. I mean, for example, I think a kilo of oil will make like 33,000 soft gel capsules. And you can get that kilo of oil from 22 pounds of hemp flower. So you start doing some math and extrapolating. What was always the golden goat back in the day was who's going to get the Coca-Cola contract. Coca-Cola is going to put CBD and Coke, and whoever gets that contract is going to be rich. You're going to need 50,000 acres. No, we did some math, and if they put 10, 15 milligrams of CBD in a Coke product and they market it properly and they double down so that they ensure their supply chain, they need about 700 to 1,000 acres.
That's the misunderstanding that people have, right? Is what are we able to get out of one crop, especially when it's taken to an isolate?
Yeah.
And so I think that's very fair. Now, fiber is very different. Fiber and the building materials, the way that it's processed, the product itself looks like little wood chips and long fibers and.
Yeah. Well, and there's just so much more we can do with it. You look at some of these hempcrete projects. You look at we're trying to press 4x8 sheets of plywood or particle board. We can chew through lots of fiber material. Now, CBD oil is another matter.
Right.
So it's just a transition. I mean, everybody jumped on board because there were people shouting from the rooftops at 50,000 an acre.
And honestly, I'm thankful for what CBD or that piece did to get us at least through the door, right? It got us started.
Yep.
But it definitely hijacked the hemp industry.
Well, unfortunately, a friend of mine, we were chatting. I was doing some work with him in Wisconsin on some farming and genetics and such. And in 2019, when the Farm Bill was coming up, he said, "You don't seem that happy about this." And I was like, honestly, I think we need a minute or two more. Like, I'm very happy that hemp would be legal across the United States, and a lot of roadblocks are going to come down through this. However, I don't think we're quite mature enough yet. It's like giving a 14-year-old the car keys. There's a reason that we wait till they're 16. And we did. We messed it up. Farmers are awesome at that. We hear that there's $1 to be made with a crop, and we'll plant the heck out of it. And we'll flood the market, which is exactly what we did. And some seed sellers and a few other guys with genetics did really well that year. And there's still millions of pounds laying around from 2019.
And it's a crop that doesn't hold its value after it sits for a long time, right? And so I think that's where it has to be understood. So I want to give a shout out to a couple of people real quick. Brendan, I'm so glad that you joined us. Thank you very much. I'd love to connect you, Aaron, with what they're doing. He's got some great resources and great tools.
Awesome.
Graham, I totally agree with you. I need a tourist house. I've been saying for a while, I want to build a parade of homes home, and I'll let anybody walk through it. Come look as much as you want. I just want to play it. And then also need some good hemp houses in Southern California where lots of celebrities will pay top dollar. And I think that the story that hemp brings and our opportunity to restructure the way our farmers are paid and taken care of is now, right? We have this opportunity with hemp. So I agree that the higher end markets, our opportunity to change, we're there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is we want it to be affordable for everyone, but with a new product, the R&D expenses, everything else makes it a little cost prohibitive. Mm-hmm. But if we can feature it and we can get celebrities in Southern California featuring it, I mean, Woody Harrelson, I want to build some hemp stuff for you. Give me a call, buddy.
Okay. Well, okay. So let's talk talk about this because this is something what does the industry need to bring it forward? And I've said for a while, it's going to take an influence to say, listen, this is what it is. Get the message out that it looks like this, feels like this, smells like this, whatever it is. But that it's all of these other benefits that come with this story around carbon and sustainability and, local manufacturing.
I think the exposure is going to be the key. I mean, like you said, CBD kind of brought hemp back into the light, kind of separated it from marijuana a little bit. And with builders and with these green projects and yeah, maybe a little bit of celebrity help, we can throw this into the limelight rather quickly. Mm-hmm. It is a freight train that's moving down the tracks.
I say that the airplane's flying. We just fix it while it's in the air. Like we have to make some changes. There's a question here that just came up. Neil, great question. How many tons of baled hemp per acre?
A lot's going to depend on your genetics and your growing conditions, but I think a good rule of thumb on a good crop would be about 3 tons per acre.
Okay.
Yeah. That'll set you up for a good spot. Like I think if you're doing a little bit of grain with that and the fiber, you can look at 600 to 800 pounds. Again, this is totally dependent on your genetics and your conditions. I've seen some guys down in Texas. I think they're going to do a heck of a lot better than 3 tons an acre. I don't know if have you seen the ones that are like 15 feet tall already?
Rusty and Corey are on each other's backs and they have their hands up and it's still way over their heads. I mean, they're 6 feet tall.
Yeah, they're gonna do a little better than 3 tons an acre down there. Yeah. So again, the genetics are gonna be your key, but a rule of thumb we've been using with some of the genetics that have been grown for fiber for a couple of years now, you're looking at 600 to 800 pounds of seed and then about 3 tons of fiber.
At $150 a bale?
Correct. Yeah, the current price that I've been seeing is about 150, little less than a little more.
$450 an acre?
That's just on your fiber. If you go for replant seeds, you can look at I think you can almost go $1 a pound on those if you're smashing for hemp hearts or just going for a food product. I think you're down to like 51, 52 cents a pound, but 600 pounds, half of that, $300, $750 if you figure in the fiber and the seeds, and that's on the low side.
You're dual cropping then, right? For a crop. Is that
that would be.
Is that how you see most people harvesting right now or planting? Yeah,
I mean, some of your fiber guys are going true fiber to where there's not much seed that it's not even really worth it. Sorry, my phone keeps. Somebody had my number there. Anyway, right. And we tried it actually in 2016. Everybody thought I was nuts. I modified a combine and took it out into a triple crop. We had about 5-6% CBD. We had seeds and we had fiber. So we took an old gleaner out through there. We blew the flour into a cart on the back. We put the seeds in the grain bin like you're supposed to, and then we just left the stock stand and we came back and baled those about a month later. So and we did that way back in 2016. Yeah. So there's lots of options to make these crops work on a large level. I wouldn't recommend, especially that one. That was that Colorado Gold stuff. It failed. So.
Okay. So talk to me about like a rotation crop. In the field, what have you seen for increased yields or water usage? In Utah, we're starving for water, just like a lot of other people. Right? Mm-hmm. Where does the crop really become valuable there? And then when it's used as a rotation crop?
So when we did that triple crop, my gosh.
It's okay. We can hear you fine.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, it's like I thought I had it like on mute or something. But anyway, so on that triple crop that we did in 2016.
I think it's important, Aaron.
Yeah, it didn't say 911, so I'm not too worried. So on that triple crop, we only had a side roll on that field. So we were able to irrigate that crop we planted June 3rd. So we irrigated till about the middle of July, and then the crop was too tall for our side roll to move through the field anymore. I actually kind of lost a few sticks of it in the one end that shot up really quick. We had to cut those out with the combine. But so that crop, we stopped watering mid-July. We used absolutely no water on that field from mid-July to the rest of the growing season. We got blessed with a couple of afternoon showers, and we saw plants. I mean, I had some sections because we did a little bit of playing with the fertilizers and such, or the amendments. And we had an end where we had stuff that was taller than the combine, 15, 16 feet.
Wow.
So the water usage was significantly less than if we were trying to grow corn. Corn takes a bit of a beating. Corn and cotton do chew through quite a bit of water. Mm-hmm. So, if you are going into more of a dry land year, it might not be the worst idea to look at a hemp crop. You can still pull something out of that field versus, you plant the corn, you spend all that money, but then it doesn't get enough water. It either stunts or it doesn't even grow at all. Mm-hmm. That requires some forecasting and some planning, but it's possible. Plus you get those bonuses of cleaning up the dirt. I mean, if you have some heavy metals in your soil, or if you've been using some unsavory amendments for years, we can clean that up in a relatively short amount of time.
Right. Morris says hi. Hi, Morris. I'm glad to see you. Welcome. Thanks for
Mighty Mo.
So what about increased yields? Are you seeing anything on the increased yields?
Increased yields
on the following crops. I've heard a lot of people say that when they're using hemp in a rotation, the following crop, they're seeing an increased yield because of the root structure from hemp. Have you experienced anything like that?
I don't have any data on that, but I could definitely say from my personal experience, I've seen some interesting stuff because your large tap roots and the root system of hemp is great for breaking up some ground, especially when you're coming from a seed plant like that. So it's kind of like, actually sometimes we plant radishes and stuff just to break up the dirt a little more in some of our clayey areas. So it definitely has advantages there. And then you can get the water into the soil a little bit easier. Your plants that are coming in the next year can develop a better root structure. They don't have to push through as much stuff. Right. So definitely. And I'm sure there's actually some agricultural research from universities and such that would support that a little better than my hearsay, but I have seen some positive impacts. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining, and thank you everybody else that jumped on today. Aaron, I'm excited to hear what you're doing and excited to make this connection. I'd also love to invite you back for a product spotlight on another series that I co-host for really just hemp building materials, but into broadcasting into the construction and building space. And so I'd love to get you on and make those intros. Then is there anything else you have for advice for anybody that maybe is trying to get into the industry or may have some interest in product?
Oh boy, advice. I don't know. I wish somebody had given me advice back in the day.
I got some advice.
No, it's an exciting industry with just tons of potential for positive impact. So get in it. Learn. I guess one thing we always used to tell people when we first started growing hemp is we went to every event. We things like you're doing, Mandi. Like, I can't say enough good things about the exposure and the connections that you're making for this industry. But that's the thing, is you got to get out there. Don't sit on your couch. Nothing's going to happen that way. Attend everything you can. Call people. I mean, people like myself, I'm always happy to respond to an email, jump on a call, guide you in the right direction. I'm not an expert in all aspects, but usually I know somebody that is. If I can't answer the question, I know somebody that can. We'll get you going on the right path anyway. So exposure. And it's hemp is not for the faint of heart.
No.
If you're in this purely to make money, you should probably just go and learn how to play the stock market or something like that, because if your heart's not in it, it's going to be a difficult road. Awesome. You actually do have to care.
Ram, so. I am all about this, and I support you in your mission here. Let's get with Snoop Dogg. I've been saying I want Martha.
Yeah, Ram, please. Yeah, Ram, hook us up with Snoop, man. We were actually just talking about that the other day. Just a quick one on exposure. We were like, wow, if we could do like Snoop Dogg's studio or something, or a room in his house.
Yes.
We'd be on the map.
Why not Martha Stewart? Let's put it in all of her stuff, right?
Yeah, we could do the Martha Stewart collection and then the Snoop connection.
Yes,
collection.
They work together. So,
Right? I like
awesome.
it. I like it.
Well, cool. Aaron, if there's anything else, I really appreciate your shout out, by the way, about the association. I encourage anybody to get involved. I'm really passionate about making connections and just helping to put that together. And so show up. You can find any information on our Global Hemp Association website. Other than that, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need help connecting with Aaron or about any of the topics that you heard today. I'm also happy to help you. I am not the expert, but I'll connect you to people that are, like this guy.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very, very much. Have a great day, Aaron. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. You too. Take care, Mandi.
See you guys. Thank you.
All right. Bye now.